So believe it or not, I'm actually a big fan of Warhammer 40k. I play the tabletop game, I play a bunch of the video games. Shout out to my buddy Caleb for getting me addicted. I'm not bitter about it at all. It's a really, really good time, don't get me wrong, but the running joke with Warhammer is that once you are into the universe, you can't get out because it is extremely vast, the lore is extremely robust, and whether you are interested in the tabletop game or one of the video games or simply the lore, there's always something new and interesting to be explored. And that brings me to this video today because the developers over at Owlcat reached out and offered me the chance to try and show off their brand new game Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader to my audience, and so I said sure. This is a classical RPG developed in the style of those old school RPGs we all know and love, and it's from the same guys that developed Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, which is a critically acclaimed RPG in its own right. Now, funnily enough, I was actually already playing Rogue Trader when the developers reached out and asked me if I was interested in trying the game, so I was like, already doing it, bros. But as is always the case with these videos, I simply required that I'm allowed to say whatever I want to say. If I have good things to say, I should be allowed to say that. If I have negative, I want to be able to call that out. I just want to be honest with my audience. And they said, absolutely, do whatever you want to do. We just want you to share this with your audience. And so here we are. So shout out to Owlcat Games for sponsoring the video. Thank you guys. And let's get into the game itself. Also, shout out to the cats that are running around behind me. Finley is also asleep in his little Christmas setup right there, so you might see him running around too. So Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader is a turn-based CRPG set in the grim darkness of the far future. In the game, you play as a rogue trader, which you get to design yourself. Playing as a combination of a free explorer, star merchant, and powerful feudal, you operate on the fringes of known space, moving freely across the Imperium and beyond, and stand above most of the laws and limitations of the Imperium. You start as a rogue trader's heir on the void ship of your patron and distant relative, Theodora von Valentius, and following the events of the prologue, you will discover the chain of events that lead you to inheriting the dynasty and the vessel itself. The game starts with you designing your character, selecting some background elements that have permanent effects on how you play the game, basically your own backstory. You choose your classes, loadouts, all of that good stuff, and then head into the game. Now, the first thing to make very, very clear is that this is the first CRPG like this for Warhammer ever. So if you've ever had the itch to have a sort of Baldur's Gate style game, but in the world of Warhammer 40k, this is the game for you, no joke. Not to mention that it is also extremely robust and the writing is stellar. It also features a turn-based combat system, which takes a lot of hints and nods from the actual tabletop RPG. So if you've played that, or if you've ever wanted to play it, this can be a really cool way of seeing some of those same terminologies and elements come into play on the video game side of things. This right here is a battle during what's technically the prologue section of the game, when we're fighting a big, scary, ghosty ghouly chaos spawn, which you might also recognize from the tabletop game itself, and it gives you a pretty good idea of how the combat works, so I thought we would go here and start with this. At the start of combat, you can actually select members of your party and then assign them to certain locations on the battlefield that might be more advantageous based on their loadout. So, for example, I have this melee-focused build for this guy, so I want Abelard right up front and center because he's going to try to slap him with the chainsword. Then over here, I've got somebody that's a psyker, is good at range stuff and like AoE affected attacks and things, but pretty weak, not somebody you want getting hit. So I'll toss her over there. And then as for my main player character, Luke, I am sort of an officer class, so I give my crew buffs and passive abilities to help them fight even more effectively. Same thing, I don't want to get hit too hard, so I'm going to go into cover, but I can also rush with melee, so I'll stay here with partial cover. And then lastly, I have a ranged focused character in the form of the one and only Argenta, so I'm going to put her in cover where she's going to be safe because, again, she's ranged, not really meant to get up close and personal. So here we're ready to start the battle. Now that we've set ourselves up in an ideal position, we start the battle and then it's actually going to kick off, and you can see it runs through the little tutorial if you're not overly familiar, and then you can hit complete and just get into it. Now, this early in the game, combat is relatively simple. You have movement points. As you can see, it's based on cells, so the entire battlefield is divided up into a grid, making movement pretty clear clear with what types of units you could fit where and how, and it helps you organize more complicated attacks, especially once you start factoring in adding certain buffs onto certain characters, debuffs onto enemies, and then striking them at the right time in the right combination. Since right here I'm looking for the ranged attack, I'm just going to select ranged attack. This, in this case, is just a pistol shot using this pistol that I have equipped. By the way, there is a very, very intense inventory system, and as you can see, there are many areas for you to expand and level up your character with all sorts of different armor, different classes of items that might grant you certain passive buffs and different things. And all of these stats, as you can see here, weapon skill, ballistic skill, strength, toughness, agility, intelligence, perception, willpower, fellowship, all of those stats you might recognize from the tabletop are also here in the game itself. But with this, I'm just going to do a ranged attack. We're going to toss it into the chaos spawn, see if it hits. Try it. Okay, 6 ain't bad. I can live with that. We'll end our turn with him. We're going to let her shoot with her bolter. No line of sight because I'm in the corner. Okay, so we're going to move here. And then we're gonna fire and see if she can connect. She can with 8. Okay, moving on. Idira is a psyker, so she is able to do this lightning arc attack, which is really, really powerful. And I think I'm gonna throw it here, but this is also going to arc into all sorts of different enemies, including my friendly fellas here that are close enough. So you do have to be careful with that attack because friendly fire, man, that will ruin your day if you don't account for it. Then it's the enemy's turn. They're all gonna run around, do their stuff. Plinking away at Abelard. Ooh, big slap. Okay, that didn't feel good. Oh God, okay, that was really not good. So now you can see a bunch of status effects sitting on him. This is not ideal, but basically if you right click on a character, you can go down and see what the status effects are. So he's got fresh injury, which means that it's received from a trap or sudden large amount of damage. If not removed with a med kit, it will turn into an old injury. Too many injuries reduce a character's resolve and cause traumas. Basically, you want to deal with this before it scars them permanently. He's also prone, which is pretty self-explanatory. It just means that they can't act and they suffer a 30% penalty to parry and dodge. So much more susceptible to actually getting hit. And then bleeding, which is a passive damage effect that they'll experience at the start of every single turn. So he's not doing great. Now down here on the right side, you can see that I have a few different abilities as well. These are my officer abilities. So I have one that's Ignite, so I can actually cast this out and deal like fire damage basically, which will inflict a burning effect. I also have this one, which is Voice of Command, which forces an ally to fully push themselves, increasing their characteristics by 11 for a round. Very, very handy. And then this one, Bring It Down, immediately grants an ally an extra turn with action points equal to 2 and no movement points, which effectively allows them to do more with their turn. And with an extra turn itself, that's really good if you have like a big 1-2 punch with like a psyker or something. I'm gonna toss it to Argenta, giving her 2 rounds. And with this, we're gonna just throw it in here and see if we can hit some shots. Oh, I like that. I like that. Ooh, but I don't like that. He just ate a body and then puked acid. Okay, that was not how I wanted that to go. And as you see, now has energy boost and contempt for Abelard. Oh, baby. Okay, I need to get out of the acid affected area, so I think I'm gonna charge up and I'm gonna try a melee attack. This might not be the best idea, but at least maybe I can push him off and give Abelard a breather. Only 6. Oh, high toughness sucks. So we just gotta roll with that. She's gonna run over here. Hello, Miss Hermione. Nice of you to join me. Oh, thank you so much for that. And then I'm gonna shoot him. We're gonna see how this goes. Okay, ooh, did some work. I can live with that. Miss Hermione's very interested in the fight too. She's just like sitting right in front of me for it. She's like, oh, this is cool. I'm down. Oh, Hermione's ashamed of me. We died. It's okay though, because when you die, you can just simply load from the last save and try again. All right, and now that we're like actually focused and all in, we are doing very well. We are just going to keep chopping away at the chaos spawn. He keeps eating his friends, so we've got to take them out. Otherwise, they're just going to keep buffing him. So now we're going to kind of rework our intentionality and our focus and shift priorities. So in this case, I'm going to focus on trying to get him. He's just out of range, so I think I'm going to push up here, run up there, and we're going to try to shooty shoot and see if we hit. Nope. Dodged it like it's nothing. Love it. Just kidding. I don't love it. I hate it. Okay, see if you hit. I probably should have moved first. I wasn't really thinking. Oops. There we go. I can grant myself extra movement and then head out. There's no great place for cover. So, I don't know. I'll just pivot. Let's pivot over here. We'll just pivot straight across. Get out of the poison effect. We'll be okay. And then I also get to fire again. Let's see if we can take him out. We can. Love it. A little bit of gore. And then over here, we have another arc effect we could use. I'm more concerned about that guy. There's no one else down there, so it's just the one. I can use my lightning arc, but it's gonna cause Abelard to take damage. Might be worth it, but I don't think it's gonna hit him all the way over there. So instead, I think I'm gonna give some extra buffs to Abelard to help him like avoid damage, be able to parry better, stuff like that. There's also analyze enemies. The operative targets one enemy within 10 cells, and that target gains 2 exploits. So I think we're gonna do that. Analyze the crap out of him. Voila. And then we'll see. Okay, he kind of slapped him. It reduces damage. I gave him a bunch of buffs, as you can see here, that give him a bunch of passive buffs to taking in damage and high toughness stuff. So damage is reduced by the toughness bonus, and he gets temporary wounds and stuff, which can be really, really handy. So that seems to be working well. I'm also going to cast this again, granting myself some extra temporary wounds, and then we're going to take another swing. Love it. We're going to see if I can hit him all the way down. Nope, it hit him instead. That's okay. Could have seen that coming. We're going to move Argento over here, see if she can land a shot on this guy. It's going to be very tough. Hey, but we got him. Okay. Okay, that's what we needed. Now there's no extra buffs. There's no nothing. It's just straight damage. I'm also going to scream with my psychic shriek at him. Just yelling. 18 damage. Love it. Oh, I totally just killed myself. Did you see that? Did you see that? I was hoping you wouldn't see that. But I definitely just shot my body on the floor. She was trying to just like launch 3 rounds into the chaos spawn. Instead, one of them went right into my collapsed body. Oops. Okay. I have no one to blame but myself. One of the other really nice things about the game as well, if you're ever confused as to what something means, you can just go over here to the log, press it, and then you can see clear explanations for each and every individual little thing that it might have happened. So if you're like, wait, how did I just get that status effect? You can go over here, chaos spawn, contempt effect applied. You highlight it. They have fantastic explanations for each of these individual little things. So you can see like, oh, well, that's what happened. Okay, when he did that scream, that's what was applied. Okay, and that's interesting. So these tests, it changed from by 2 to 16. Okay, that makes sense. So if you ever have any questions, you can actually test it and investigate it, which is super cool. Finley, are you supposed to eat Lego? No, you're not. Silly cat. He thinks he's a master Lego builder. He's a cat. He doesn't even have thumbs. He's ridiculous. Okay, focus up, Luke. We're here to kill a chaos spawn. Let's finish this out. Let's do it. Big money. Okay, now if I shoot in here, I shouldn't hit myself. So that's at least the plan. That's at least the plan, because I'm already dead, so what's the worst that could happen? Okay, over here, I'm going to scream. I might be able to kill him with the scream. Hey, I did. Okay, boom, just like that. We killed the chaos spawn. Hooray, everybody, we did it. And that's just one little bitty technically tutorial boss fight that is very, very simple and straightforward. There is so much depth here, and especially with the party system, you can have at the max 6 members of your party with all different complementing abilities and skills, ways that you can synergize abilities. So you debuff this guy, you buff him up with that, you give him an extra turn, and then he slaps the fire effect and then this effect on him. Like, there's so much cool in-depth stuff here. It's wild. And you would expect it coming from Owlcat Games. I mean, these are the guys behind Pathfinder. Like, they know what they're doing when it comes to CRPGs. And there's seriously so much content in this game, it's crazy. There are diverse planetary encounters leading you to all sorts of different planets, ranging from verdant agri worlds or industrial forge worlds. The decisions you make during dialogue can have permanent gameplay altering effects, not just on your party, but on entire worlds. And all of this was done in close partnership with Games Workshop, the creators behind the Warhammer 40k universe. This is one of those videos where, like, I want to show you a lot of stuff you hit later on in the game that I've seen, even though I haven't finished the game entirely yet. I'm enjoying what I've seen. But again, like, I don't want to spoil the game in case you want to try it for yourself, because there's so many crazy boss encounters, combat encounters. The environments are gorgeous, and all of this is available on PC, Xbox Series X and S, and PlayStation 5. So wherever you play games, you can try it. But I don't want to spoil too much because there is so much here. And if you're interested in the world, if you're looking for a really intense and robust turn-based combat system, and you just want a solid game with lots of content and a crazy RPG to sink your teeth into, this is a phenomenal game as far as I'm concerned, and I can't wait to continue playing more. And if you guys are interested in hearing my thoughts in the coming weeks and months as I continue to play the game and get more familiarized with it, let me know in the comment section and like the video so I know to follow this up, and we can look at the game again once I have a better understanding of all of its nitty-gritty details. And also, I mean, these little narrative exposition cutscene things I find super, super cool. It reminds me of the little storyboard cutscenes that they would do in The Witcher 3 when catching you up with the story, if you remember those. It's very, very similar, and I love this kind of thing. It's like a storybook comes to life, but it's about a dark, grim universe that is frankly more interesting than the stories in most children's books. So I find this much more compelling personally. And as always, you can expect links to all of the good stuff down in the description box or in the pinned comment below. So if you want to check out the game yourself, you can jump right to it and give it a shot. While you do that, I'm going to keep playing. You can see you can actually travel to different planets and explore the galaxy or solar system that way, which is just kind of cool to me. And then you load in. So I'm going to be doing that. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me while I play these games. Finley and I greatly appreciate it, I'm sure. Do you have any parting words of wisdom, my dear kitty cat? Any parting words of wisdom? No? This is the cat that ran away for 2 weeks, by the way. If you guys watch the live streams and stuff, you remember I was freaking out because my cat was missing and had been gone for 2 weeks, and we were worried he got hit by a car. That was this cat, and then he just came back one day and was like, hey, what's up? It was really weird. I don't know what your deal was or what you were doing, but I'm glad you're home. So thanks for watching, guys. Say bye. Say bye. Look at them. No? Okay. He's like, I want cuddles now. Okay. You can have cuddles. Okay, thank you for watching, everybody. Much love. Make sure to like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff you're YouTubers say all the time. Much love. I'll see you in the next one.